Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the Paranormal Peeps podcast. Still pretty sure it's the only podcast with 3 P's and 3 words. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Everybody's looking at me like, no.
P cubed.
Either way. Is it cubed or?
Cubed.
Okay.
P3.
I'm not into math. So, anyway. Welcome
I have to be quiet now.
Why?
It's fine. We're good.
You have a microphone. You don't have to be quiet at any time. You just let it fly.
We're good.
So, all right, kids. Well, welcome to Paranormal Peeps podcast. We appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for coming back. Hopefully the last ones were good enough that it did make you come back. And if it's your first episode, well, you've got a whole bunch of back listening to do. So we are here recording this. This will actually be coming out in December, right?
Yep.
Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody. Or Hanukkah or whatever you choose.
I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Happy holidays.
That's right.
Yes.
Hope you had good turkey, good gravy. Skip the NFL.
Good food, good eat. Good
Because at the time of recording this, it's almost July. I'm just kidding.
podcast magic.
No, it's anyway. Messing with you, it's not July. It's still cold outside. Anyway, so we are unfortunately missing the lovely Elisa tonight. She is home with I don't know, sick kids, I believe.
Yeah.
Battling the illnesses. So
That's
what happens when you have children.
It's that time of
It's
year.
that time of year.
When weather gets cold, people get cold.
Cold, flu
people get
season.
sick.
I mean, I had leprosy last week. It was terrible.
I got the plague this week.
I know. Yeah. I'm glad that you stopped using.
Yeah, me too.
I don't have to look across the table at that. Well, what we do have here, Lisa, if you're listening to this, we totally missed you.
We miss you.
And you're the one that was going to keep us on the rails. And so, heaven help you all.
It's going off the rails.
It's off the rails. We're already off the reservation here. Okay, so anyway, we do have here, let's go around the table, just introduce ourselves.
It's Josh.
And Jamie?
Terry.
She's my wife. And I am Lord Mike. So we do have a fun topic tonight. A couple episodes ago, back around Halloween time, we talked about Dracula's castle. And we at the time we were like, let's do some Dracula's castle, let's do some Castle Frankenstein. And we found out there was way too much to cover both of those in one episode. And so we're back to do part 2 of that. We're going to talk about Castle Frankenstein.
One of the most famous monsters.
Yes. Or the castle. And
Or
the
the
monster.
But
The man.
Is it Frankenstein's monster? Or just Frankenstein?
No, his name's Adam.
Are you sure?
I'm going to talk about that.
But if it was made up of many parts,
Jamie's robot.
There it is.
I better take care of that.
if
We were just talking about that earlier. Sorry, guys.
If the monster was made up of many body parts, right? Couldn't it have just chosen like this week? I am Alice because my toe is from Alice.
Hey, we're PC. You can identify as anything you want anymore.
That's true.
And then Frankenstein really is a they and them.
Yeah.
It should be, right? Or we and us.
No, but
Yeah,
it's not
right?
even, he wasn't even all human. There was animal parts too.
It's got to kind of put it all together.
Yeah.
Well, then he's a Wendigo.
But then he was
That's right.
intelligent. He is e pluribus unum of many, one.
So he's the U.S.
It's United States. Oh my gosh.
Oh, we cracked the code.
Boom.
We cracked the code.
Epiphanies all around. That's like, I didn't know that this was written in Mary Shelley was in 1816. That's like wow. It was a metaphor for the United States.
That's right.
Wow. We'd only been in a country for like 20 years and then boom. It was like a prophecy.
A little bit longer than 20 years.
Okay, like
1776 to 1816. That's 42 years.
44. Sure, 40 years.
You're good at
Hey,
math.
I'm math good.
I don't. But we'll get to all that stuff.
So what am I doing now?
Jamie, tell us about Castle Frankenstein.
Okay, yeah. So before 1250, Lord Conrad II, he built Frankenstein Castle and thereafter named himself von und zu Frankenstein. The first document proving the existence of the castle was in 1252, and that bears his name.
I have to stop you right there. I've
yes,
seen
sir.
the movie. It's Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. I'm going to say Frankenstein.
Gene Wilder told us. Sorry,
You better
continue.
reference the movie that is, because we have people
It's
here that
called-
don't watch movies.
Oh yeah, it's
Like
it's
Josh.
It's called Young Frankenstein with Gene Wilder.
So at the
Sorry, may have
beginning
watched
of the 15th century, the castle was enlarged and then modernized. So Frank, being an ancient Germanic
Germanic.
tribe, and Steen meaning stone. So many places in Germany actually share this moniker. And of course, the most famous is being Frankenstein Castle. And I'm going to say Frankenstein. But on an interesting note,
Frankenstein.
No, you should say Frankenstein.
Say Frankenstein. No, I'm just messing with you.
so another report is that the castle was constructed in the late 10th century after a knight named Arbogast von Frankenstein won the land in a contest of arms. So members of the von Frankenstein family occupied the castle up until the late 1600s, when it was then sold and turned into a hospital.
It was a hospital.
Contest of arms.
Yeah.
Could that be
Supposedly.
an arm wrestling tournament?
Could be, or it could be that they fought
Like
with
battle.
swords.
Yeah.
I just
Maybe they battled with arms. It's like whack, 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 whack.
the problem is
Bring me another arm. This one's too short.
I keep thinking of Knight's Tale,
Oh, yeah.
and that's historically accurate.
A movie he has seen.
It is accurate.
I love that movie.
I know.
It's a good movie.
It's accurate, like Braveheart.
Are you not entertained?
Wait, that's Gladiator.
That's true. Maybe I haven't seen it.
These are all good shows, though.
Yeah, they're all good movies.
It's all right.
It's on the list of ones that I've seen. So that kind of brings us to Johann Conrad Dipple, who was born in 1673 in the castle. You guys might know him better as Dr. Frankenstein.
I just know him as Johann.
Johann
Yo, for short. We're tight.
or Han.
Nah, he didn't like that one. It's like, I was done. It's like my daughter. Her name's Annika. She doesn't like to be called Anakin. He didn't like to be called Han. It's like, I wasn't in Star Wars. It's Yo.
If he would
Duh.
look, if he would have been in Star Wars, he would have been a Sith. So, but his father was actually a Lutheran clergy member, and he was the 4th generation Dipple. So that would make Johann the 5th generation Dipple. Johann was initially tutored by his father in the hopes that he would carry on the family tradition. He would not. He ended up going to the University of Gießen. So he went to the University of Gießen. While going to Gießen, he studied theology, philosophy, and alchemy, and was reputed to be an unusually gifted intellectual.
So yeah, those are smart kid things. I mean, theology. I mean, that's just religion.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
Philosophy.
Philosophy. That's like a smart kid thing.
Yeah.
And then alchemy.
That's just chemistry.
That's just chemistry. But still, it's like, I don't know.
That's chemistry before we actually knew
Before there
what we
was
were doing.
before there was chemistry. I mean,
Yeah.
so this is like seriously smart kid stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was a little too smart for his own good, though. Because during that time, when he was actually going to college at Gießen, he was a staunch defender of traditional Lutheranism, the Lutheran faith against the Pietists. Now, everyone's going to be going, what? Because I know I did. The Pietism was a reform movement back in the 17th and 18th centuries, Dutch and German Protestantism.
Prostates.
You're as bad as me.
I know.
in pronouncing.
Pull your
these
knees
things.
up to your chest. This is going to feel a little pressure.
Yes. It actually emphasized the personalized faith against the main Lutheran church's perceived stress on doctrine and theology over Christian living. So it's almost like, the whole Lutheran, like the whole Protestant Reclamation and when Lutheranism came out. So it's a big deal to be kind of like pushing against the standard form of things.
Well, yeah.
So the funny thing is after he left college, he moved to Strasbourg. Well, Dipple ended up joining the Pietists and started attacking Orthodox Lutheranism. So, like, he's like, I hate you. I'm with
Dad.
you. Yeah. It could have been a daddy issue. Very well could have been a daddy issue.
I was just say that's the root of all evil.
Dads?
All daddy issues.
Oh. I thought you were going to say religion.
No, it could be religion too. Absolutely.
He would start leading protests, and it's these actions that actually led him to going to prison for 7 years for heresy. So they took speaking out against the religions pretty seriously back in those days.
Oh yeah.
Mainly because they were sponsored by the church.
Well, didn't Martin Luther get suffer a horrible life?
Yeah.
Didn't he get murdered?
I believe so.
He got suicided.
I think he did.
I think the Clintons got him.
The Clintons.
Sorry.
Boy, that goes they go back a long
cut
ways.
that out.
We don't want to get
They do go back.
So, but yeah, so obviously heresy was a pretty big deal back then because speaking out against religion was actually speaking out against the crown, and they would end up throwing you in prison for that. I'm surprised he actually survived because a lot of people who were listed as heretics were executed. So Joan of Arc was.
A heretic?
She was a heretic and she got burned at the stake for it.
Yeah.
That's another movie I watched. Ah.
The other one
You
with,
start making a list, you might be up to 10 movies now,
I know.
Josh.
the other one with Mila Jovovich?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No, it was Bill and Ted. Joan of Arc was in Bill and Ted, so
She was. I'm at 11.
She was Miss of Arc. That's what they call her.
So after he got out of prison, he went on to lecture at Witherby and Strasbourg, two different universities. So there's like modern day, teachers or professors. They all at least been to jail once.
They're all criminals. They're all heretics, honestly.
So even though he barely studied alchemy at Gießen, like he had rudimentary alchemy classes, he actually started lecturing alchemy and philosophy at those schools.
Sounds like Bill Nye. Bill Nye, the science guy?
Gym education?
Pretty much. It's like he had like a minor in like biology, something like that. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Hey, he made science cool.
Or dorky. He made bow ties cool.
everybody loved watching Bill Nye.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I never watched
I loved
it.
Bill Nye.
I'm old school. It was Mr. Wizard.
I loved him too.
Yeah.
It's first Mr. Wizard, then Bill Nye. So really, Dipple was the predecessor to Bill Nye and
Yeah, Bill Nye.
Mr. Wizard.
I got Bill Nye apologists going to be sending us letters.
So, under the name of Christianus Democratus, he published over 70 works. So literary works, right? Which I think is funny because if you look at the names, that really looks like Democratic Christian,
Right?
and he was definitely not any of that.
But that was a pseudonym, right? That was his name.
Yeah, that was
his writing.
He was pseudonym, yeah.
So,
And a lot of people, a lot of authors have written under pen names.
well, he probably chose a name that would be more acceptable. If he says I'm like a Christian and, then people are going to accept it more than, I don't know. Maybe not. I'll shut up now. I'll try anyway.
Because of his religious provocations in Strasbourg and the fact that he was blamed for killing a man in a duel, he was forced to flee back to Gießen. This man's got a bad history.
Okay, now what kind of duel was this? Was like swords?
He didn't say.
Swords,
It was arms.
jousting, firearms.
It mattered.
Arms.
Just arms.
Arms to arms.
It was the arms battle.
They slapped each other with arms. Well, it was 1673, so we all know that was before firearms were existed.
Okay.
Josh
No, he was
looked at me
born in
like-
1673.
Josh is like, firearms existed back then.
They did.
They did.
Gunpowder has been around for centuries. Or millennia, I should say. Dipple was convinced that he was able to turn lead into gold. The awful alchemy thing back then. So he got some investors, and after 8 months of failed attempts, he was forced to flee to Berlin to escape his enemies and his creditors. This man is just running.
He's like
he's
Doc.
smart.
He's like Doc
smart.
Brown in the plutonium from the Libyans.
Yeah. Dipple ends up back in the place of his birth, attempting to create the elixir of life. He ends up creating what's called Dipple's oil, which its primary use was a tanning agent.
Oh, this was nasty.
Oh, awful.
Awful.
Absolutely awful.
Awful.
But what's funny is it's like, hey, you know what? Let's use this to tan the hide of this animal, and then we're going to drink it.
Yeah.
That makes...
Well, they used to use it to coat the water wells to poison the people in towns.
Yeah.
During, was it World War
World War II.
World War II, yeah.
Yeah, just some nasty, nasty stuff. So the crazy thing is Dipple actually marketed this awful thing as a cure for everything from the common cold to epilepsy. So Dipple was the first snake oil salesman.
You know, if it tans like skins, right? What would it do to your stomach? I mean, or like we talking like never getting heartburn?
No, we're talking like never having a stomach.
Oh yeah.
I read what was actually in it. I can tell you what it is right now, but it's just absolutely awful stuff. They don't recommend actually ingesting it.
Well, there's a lot they don't recommend ingesting,
right?
but people do.
Bleach,
Tide Pods.
Bats.
But if you mix Tide Pods with bats, now you got yourself a tasty treat.
Tasty, yummy treat. On a spin cycle first.
Yes. The oil was made from the distillation of animal matter, including leather, blood, ivory, and horns.
Oh, sign me up.
Yeah, right? It was a black, oily substance that had a smell of ammonia.
Ugh.
So
Here.
does cat urine.
Drink it.
I was going to make a noise, but I'm not going to.
Like,
Yeah, it's like,
he claimed that by drinking it, you could live to be 135 years old.
You could.
No.
Well, he made the claim that he was going to live
Yep.
to
Yeah.
135 as well.
He said he was going to live that
Right.
old.
So it's rumored that he sold it to the Count August von
Say von Liechtenstein, please.
Wittgenstein.
Oh, close enough.
It is. It's very close. Von Liechtenstein.
From Gelderland.
After selling it to him, he died only a couple of years later. So,
Yeah, he died in like his 60s.
Yeah, 61, I think is what he
which is, I mean, for that time, it's actually kind of old.
Yeah, for that time period. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, did he ever find is it the Sorcerer's Stone that makes you live forever?
No,
No, that was,
that was in Full Metal Alchemist.
that was, what's his name?
Rumpelstiltskin?
No, it's in Harry Potter. It's in the
Harry
first one.
Potter.
Oh,
But he's a real dude. Flamel. Nicholas Flamel.
So Nicholas Flamel.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, real dude. That's what
Yes.
I love about
I
Harry
know.
Potter.
So there's no written record of Dipple ever working on human corpses while inside the castle. However, it's rumored, and there's rumors and legends swirling around after he fled the castle. So again, he got driven out of his home for a third time because the townspeople were kind of sick and tired of him peddling his goo everywhere. Dipple ended up dying in 1734, and it's suspected he died of a stroke, but some people think he actually died drinking his own elixir.
It was a stroke of genius.
I would tend to believe the latter of that.
I would too, right?
Absolutely.
What's interesting though is looking into the research of what he was doing. He had another guy working with him, and they were working together, and they ended up mixing up the chemicals that they were working with, and they ended up creating something that was called Berlin blue or the Parisian blue, and it was used in like blueprints and dyeing clothes and photography.
This has been used in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's actually still used today. And so it's the one thing that he actually created that was beneficial.
Right.
And it was completely by accident.
And he reaped none of the rewards.
None. And then, of course, that Terry already mentioned, too, that in World War II, during the Desert Campaign, Dipple's oil was used to coat the insides of the wells to render the water undrinkable to actually basically kill by dehydration.
But yet this was the same stuff he was telling people, saying, drink it, you'll live till you're
And stuff he
135.
was drinking himself.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's so awful.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what's really good? I'm just going to put all this stuff in water and melt it down and distill it. And then I'm going to drink it.
I wonder if it tasted good on a cracker.
On a cracker.
No, that's
Probably melted the cracker.
Does it get that skin on the top where you can scrape it off?
That's the British toothpaste.
I
It
know.
even goes good on a cracker.
Good on a cracker.
And so that is the glorious life of Henry Dipple. So, Mike, tell us about his entrance into infamy and finality.
Well, most people had never even heard of him. I mean, I'm wagering that most of the people that are listening to this right now I'd be lucky if any of them had heard of Mr. Dipple.
I hadn't.
Johann, I hadn't. But, we are familiar with a story about that could be. Now, there's a lot of theories on whether it was based on him or not. It's really, really likely that it was. I mean, it's pretty obvious that it was, but at the same time, no one has any proof. But there's, we're fast forward about 100 years. He died in, you said
1734.
So less than 100 years later, there's a young lady in England who is, we'll just kind of bank into her life a little bit and kind of leading up to how she started to tell the story that became famous. Her name is Mary Shelley. But
Never heard of her.
Yeah, well, her name wasn't Shelley to begin with. That was her married name. Her name was Mary Wollstonecraft, and her dad's name was Godwin. So Mary Wollstonecraft Godwin. But anyway, so she was born in late 1700s in England, and her mom died a couple weeks after childbirth. Her dad was a publisher and an editor and a writer. Her mom was a fantastic author and writer. Those are the same thing, authors and writers, just in case you weren't sure. But very forward-thinking people. And so at that time, most women, were viewed as property. Your father owned you, and then your husband owned you, and they really filled one role, and that was to be subservient and subordinate to men.
And have babies.
They didn't have a lot of rights. They didn't have vote. They weren't respected. And so because they were subordinate, your husband had the legal authority to beat you if you spoke up, if you spoke out, if you voiced your opinions. Nowadays, men get beaten by their wives because we said spoke up and
Rolling pins, frying
right.
pans.
Don't make her mad.
I got the bruises to prove it.
Yes. So, but anyway. There's a lot about her life. I'm not going to go into a lot of things that were probably not quite appropriate for the what we're talking about with it. But we're going to fast forward. So she was her dad, being an editor, and actually had a printing press that failed. But he was very forward thinking. He raised his daughter. There was full education opportunities afforded to her that weren't afforded to most women at the time. And so she grew up very, very smart, and at the age of 16, because of her dad and all his connections, there were famous authors and poets that were coming over to the house. She knew all these guys. One of them that she met at her father's home was a poet named Percy Bysshe Shelley. And he would actually become known as one of the most highly regarded poets of the day. I had never heard of him because
Nope.
I'm a young punk, but at that time, he was actually very respected. So she meets him, becomes friends with him. I mean, she's been hobnobbing with all these famous writers and poets and philosophers of the day just because of, who her dad is. She ends up kind of getting in a little bit of a relationship with Percy. Percy's married, but that doesn't seem to matter. So there's whole stories on that. At one point, she did go on a trip through Europe with him, and she's young. I think she was about 14 at the time. And they ran through big tour through Europe along the Rhine, and that's where it's rumored that she might have heard the story of Frankenstein, and of the castle. The town was called. Oh shoot, I'm blanking on it now. But the town was just 10 miles from where the castle sits.
Mm-hmm.
And even though she only spent a few hours there, she would have been talking with people who were educated. And she herself was always fascinated with science and with the macabre. And one of the things, her husband Percy was a master at macabre. Of course, they weren't married at this time. So they come back to London. Things go on, and then they go on another trip to Switzerland. And they rent a villa on Lake Geneva. This is the summer of 1816. And they're renting a villa next door to another writer, famous writer named Lord Byron. I had heard of. Couldn't tell you what he wrote because I'm uneducated.
Not a clue.
But I've heard of him. So it brings some credibility to this, right? So anyway, the summer of 1816, it was a real bad summer. It was a summer of darkness. I think they called it like the Little Winter. It was terrible. There was a volcanic eruption of Mount Tambora, which is over near Singapore. And because of all of the ash and everything in the air, crops were failing. The temperatures were much lower all through the summer. There was a lot of darkness. The sky was very dark. Crops failing, like I said, a lot of rain. And so they spend the summer in Lake Geneva, but they spent most of their time inside because it was cold and wet outside all the time.
A volcanic eruption in Singapore is halfway around the world from Europe.
Yeah, it caused a lot of problems.
That must have caused worldwide issues.
Yeah, it was pretty much Northern Hemisphere is what it.
Didn't Mount St. Helens, when Mount St. Helens erupted, didn't that cause issues in Europe too?
I think it did. They call it the year without a summer is what it's called. And it had lots of severe climate abnormalities. Like I said, global temperatures plummeted, killed crops. The sky was dark all across the Northern Hemisphere. And at any rate, they spent most of their time inside because it was just cold and wet. And so they spent their time most of the time over at Lord Byron's place. That's how you become acquainted with your neighbors. Can't go do anything fun. And they would talk about stories. And they would, because they were educated, they would talk about all the things that are going on in the day. They all had a fascination with science. And one of the recent things was there was a guy, and I want to say it was in Germany actually, that had been doing experimentations with frogs and sending electrical impulses into frog legs and making the legs twitch. A dead frog. Mm-hmm. And they found all that fascinating. And so the topic of reanimation and of bringing people to life and saving life. I mean, CPR was just a recent thing, saving a drowning victim and, bringing them back to life was still kind of a new concept to these people at this time.
Right.
So very popular topics. And so they're there and they come up with a contest. Lord Byron says, all right. Well, first they start talking about ghost stories, and they're finding some of the local ghost stories of the day. And then Lord Byron makes a contest. Let's see who can write the best short story ghost story. And so they come up with it. Mary has a hard time. Several days. Like, did you come up with anything yet? She's like, no, not yet. And then one night she goes to bed and she can't fall asleep. And so she has what they call a waking dream, which
so like
essentially,
a daydream?
Well, you're awake. You're laying there. Your eyes are closed, but you're awake and you're aware of everything that's going around you. But you almost get taken somewhere else. And she sees all the things that would go into her story. She sees a man, a young student that is lying there, and he's got a giant machine, and it creates, energy that brings and this guy's, builds this body out of, digs up graves, builds this body out of different people's bones and organs and animal organs and stuff, creates this creature, and then brings it to life. And then he begins to, and he's so excited that he was able to do it, but then he comes to regret what he had created and feel guilty about it. And so she brings up this whole story about it, and she comes and she writes it. She writes a little bit of it, pitches the idea, and they're like, yeah, that's a great ghost story or a creepy story. From there, she begins to write, and she spent the whole rest of the summer, and actually took her 2 years to write this story and get it down. And then in 1818, and nobody would publish it because it was written by a woman. And so finally in 1818, they take it to a different publisher, a small one. They only printed they were only willing to print 500 copies because they weren't willing to take a gamble on it. And her name was not mentioned in it anywhere as the author. In fact, her husband, she did end up marrying this guy, Percy. After his wife had committed suicide, they ended up getting married. And
Well, that's just dark.
yeah, well, there's more darkness with that too.
Great.
That's a whole nother story in itself. But he writes a foreword in it that, and because he's a well-known poet at the time, they just assume that he wrote it because his name is at the bottom of the foreword.
Mm-hmm.
And so it gets published, and it has never not been in print since then. It got
Amazing.
picked up, and it's never been out of print. It's constantly, they're still printing more copies.
Wow.
That's
So,
crazy.
It is crazy. So, but there becomes a dilemma with that. In 1831, I believe it was, he died. There was a second printing that came out in 1831. Percy, I think, died actually a little bit before that. But she goes to the printers and says, well, I'm the one that wrote it. And people wouldn't agree, once Percy died, she's like, no, really, this was me. People had a hard time with it, but it was kind of, they had ended up, no choice to give her credit because Percy wasn't there to say, no, it was me. Now, there was a guy, fast forward up until, it was 1986, there was a guy that was a very educated person as far as Mary Shelley and her works, found like the ancient documents and stuff. And out of the 72,000 words that were in there, he did determine from looking at notes and whatnot that Percy had written about 5,000 of them. And so there's people saying, well, then he should be written as a co-author. But it came that, that's what editors do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Editors say, no, you need to rewrite this here, make this here, and made changes. And even in her manuscript, she made comments to the notes. But so Mary Shelley never actually visited this Castle
No.
Frankenstein.
No, never visited it.
The book she wrote, it was titled Frankenstein, a modern Prometheus, I think is what it was. And everything is pretty much loosely follows the exploits and the stories about Johann Dipple. So there's a lot of question like, how would she write that if she didn't know those things? Mm-hmm. Now, there is a theory that her stepmother was... now, she had been a translator, and she translated the stories from the Brothers Grimm, sorry. Got to say it right. From German into English. And so there's theories that maybe she had learned some of the stories from there. Mm-hmm. Maybe she had heard some of the stories while she was in Germany. Or just talking to local people in Switzerland, ghost stories and stuff. They were all fascinated with it.
Why did she choose the name Frankenstein, though?
Nobody knows.
That makes you wonder.
So,
nobody knows.
There was a book called The Secret Memoirs of Mary Shelley. Mm-hmm. And it's, I guess, from her own writings. And it's printed in there that claims that during that trip on the Rhine, that she was introduced to Dipple's oil. Like the story of Dipple's oil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which would send her down a rabbit hole about Dipple.
Exactly, which would have put her right on that path.
Right on that path. And
so is that where all of this information came from? It's kind of like this veil of secrecy where she got all of it. It's almost like Dracula, right? When you're talking about the Dracula story, it's like, never been there. Don't know anything about it, but here's a story. And this is what we're claiming is it.
Well, and
in front of it.
What's kind of weird with it too is, I think she collaborated and she took things from different things that she did know. There's a section in the book, I guess, where there's a poem that's read, and it's actually a poem taken out of a book that her future husband Percy had written in 1811. It's kind of like a love story, and it's almost like a precursor thing to the Frankenstein story. It's like a and so everybody's like, well, it's his style of writing, and it's kind of continuing that story. So he obviously wrote it. Obviously.
There's a few conspiracy theories.
No, there's a lot of conspiracy theories.
Well, always are.
But obviously women couldn't write anything like that because their heads are filled with straw and they couldn't do things. They weren't capable of abstract thoughts like that.
And to think that this was all written just as a game, as a dare.
Right.
Yeah, it was just a challenge.
Yeah.
So...
But there have been books written that have been made into major motion pictures.
Yep.
that were written on a rainy weekend at a cabin.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Running Man or heard of the movie Running
Yeah.
Man. Have you read the book?
No.
No.
Written by Mr. Stephen King. And he wrote it in one weekend on 2 days. He went up to his cabin in Maine and it was rainy and nasty. And so,
But this is Stephen King, though.
right. But think about it. It's like
No, I
in
know.
2 days, here's a book, here's a picture. So like,
Yep.
it's amazing to think that anything could be written off of such a
Mhm.
short period.
Right. So the amount that she made was actually very, very small to begin with. But in today, if it were to be written today, she would have raked in more than $1 million just on those same books.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you guys know if her estate is receiving or has received the royalties from the movie?
No, don't know.
I don't know.
Because the movie is called Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. It was
Right.
solely based off of her book.
Which is funny because like the whole electricity and the lightning bringing them
Yeah.
bringing them
Yeah.
to life wasn't even in the book.
Yeah, the lightning.
That was
lightning bolt?
added to the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like it's
I
more
mean,
fun
it's
to
Hollywood
watch.
effect. I
Yeah.
get it. But yeah.
Yeah, that whole Doc Brown, lightning bolt at this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now there are some other morbid stories about it. Apparently, after Percy died, she did keep his heart wrapped in a silk scarf in her desk for the rest of her life. Apparently, allegedly,
That's gotta stink.
it said for 30 years is what my notes say. And her son, Sir Percy Shelley, finally opened his mother's writing desk, and which had been a big part of her life because she wrote more. She didn't stop with Frankenstein. She wrote several other things, and he was a little upset when he found that in her desk. So that's pretty dark. Her husband did die of, he used a lot of drugs at the time. He used laudanum, and he took a lot of opium.
Oh,
And
opium
a lot
was
of things.
very
Oh
common.
yeah. It would kind of to dampen his nerves and free his mind.
Well, a
And-
lot of the drugs nowadays were used as medical remedies back then. Like they used cocaine as a drug,
Dentistry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
back then,
Yeah.
So
and heroin, which is funny because they created cocaine as a drug to get people off of heroin.
Oh, jeez.
and it worked.
It worked
Totally
really
got him
well.
out of heroin.
Yeah. So one other thing I mentioned earlier about the creature, right? Just from the story. Now, I've never read the full book, but I do know enough about it. Now, the movie will tell you that Frankenstein was like this big, arms out,
Bolts in the neck.
and in the movie Young Frankenstein, we know he learns to sing "Putting on the Ritz." If you haven't seen it, you've got to see this movie,
Because
Josh.
that song was definitely out
Yes.
in the 1730s.
Yeah, it was Taco wasn't an 80s band. It was much older.
Yes.
But no, he was actually very intelligent. And I just want to talk about this real quick, and then we'll actually jump back into the castle. But since we're talking about the monster, the creature, people call him the creature. She didn't give him a name, and the doctor in the book didn't give him a name. She named him Dr. Victor Frankenstein. But yeah, they never gave him a name.
No.
But although the creature himself, considered himself to be kind of like Adam, in the Bible. He read the Bible and was very well versed in the Bible, apparently. And there's a moment where the creature is actually confronting Victor, and he's capable of these really fantastic thoughts. It's not just an abnormal dead brain. He says that the creature says, "At length, the thought of you crossed my mind. I learned from your papers that you were my father, my creator. And to whom could I apply with more fitness than to him who had given me life?" So he's having these intellectual conversations. And so, so instead of calling him Frankenstein, let's just call him Adam.
Yeah.
How about- It's like Victor and his son Adam. Yep.
I honestly like the Van Helsing reference to the monster better. So
Okay.
I like that monster. Like he was a very peaceful and docile creature, actually. I don't know if you guys remember the movie Van Helsing.
I never saw it.
No?
Is that the one with Hugh Jackman?
Yeah, the one with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, we have that one.
Huge.
Yeah.
I did maybe see it, but I don't remember.
Yeah. So in that one, Dracula, the
Uh-huh.
vampire, was using Frankenstein's monster to hatch his young.
Mhm.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. So you get both stories in one.
Mm-hmm.
Rolled into one.
Thing is there's just so much fun. It's fun just to create, and I don't know. I should stop talking because
It's
I don't
definitely
know. I don't know what I'm talking
it's
about.
definitely a good story for sure.
It is a great story, and it spawned so much. I mean, that was the original monster movie, right? I think that came out before Nosferatu.
I believe so.
I mean, it was like
Did it?
1931.
I think so.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. It might, or if not, then it would be
It's really close. So,
same genre.
but yeah, it wasn't like Dracula and Frankenstein were the first two monster movies to come out.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nosferatu says it came out in 1922.
Okay.
Well, no,
Nosferatu.
wait. There's a 1979 film.
It's the 21. I think that's right. So-
Yeah, the silent film.
Okay, so Drac would have come first.
1922.
It's not necessarily Dracula, but a vampire. Anyway,
Yeah. But let's face it, it's all Count Dracula, right?
at any rate, Mary Shelley did write the story. I'm going to give her full credit because I know that even though the guys then thought that women were incapable of such advanced thoughts, I know that inside every woman's brain is evil lurking and ways to just
Plotting.
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 Yes, they're much more complex than men are. So, now going back to Frankenstein's castle, we talked about the book, we talked about the monster. But let's go back to the castle. It's
Yeah.
still there.
Not much, but it's still
There's
there.
something there. There's-
Yeah. It's got walls. It's got at least one turret.
Dude, it's got freaking parties.
Yeah.
Well, like if you're gonna party, you can party in the open air.
Yeah,
It's definitely COVID friendly.
true. Although it's closed right now due to
Due to
I don't know if
COVID.
it's due to COVID, but it is closed right now. So just kind of what some of the things that we talked about, as far as why though, why is that area so special, and why is it significant?
Because it's in the mountains.
Because it's in the mountains. Well, that's always a good place. Yeah,
It's
that's-
by running water.
best castles are up on those mountain ledges, like this one is. They kind of
Yep.
overlook. It's harder to attack uphill. But in the forest there are some really strong magnetic frequencies that are picked up there. Is that right?
Stones.
Stones, man.
Magnetic stones.
In one of the podcasts I listened to, they talked about how it was that forest and that mountain is like the second most significant site for witch masses or
Pagan rituals.
pagan rituals.
And the
So,
first
like,
Yeah.
being
I didn't.
Yeah, well,
pursue that.
because of these stones and the magnetic currency that's up there, like compasses don't work. Normal compasses, it throws them all out of whack. And so they were saying you can go up to these magnetic stones, but if you come across any of these pagan rituals that happen during solstice or Halloween during Samhain and stuff like that, just to keep on going. Don't disrupt them. Let them do their thing, because still modern day still happens up there behind the castle.
So,
If you want to come back, don't.
well, if they're doing it on the ritual holidays, right, which are like the solstices, the equinoxes, and Samhain,
Yeah.
then just don't go up
Don't
there.
go up there
during
during
those
those
5
times.
times.
Right. Just go when it's not during that time of the year.
Exactly.
But otherwise, if they are doing rituals up there, still leave them alone, man.
Yeah. And so, well, and then there's the chapel that's there that still to this day you can get married in. But there's monuments that were created from some of these stones from the mountains behind the castle. So that electrical current, that magnetic current has been extended into the chapel. So it's like you have like that whole EMF situation going on out there.
Yeah, like a fear cage.
Yeah. With like the magnetic energy happening
Yeah.
from everything.
Gotta wonder what the background EMF is in that location.
Right?
I don't know.
Because,
You don't. Okay, so if compasses don't work, your EMF detectors wouldn't work.
well, no, they would work. Because they're going to give you just the
They're
background.
just
A
gonna, They're just
baseline.
going to give you like
They're going to be the radiation.
Yeah.
Right? So, because like anything over 10 milligauss of EMF can cause hallucinations, sores, other issues,
Headaches,
headaches and stuff and like that. So there's a phenomenon called a fear cage. And so essentially because of wiring and electronics, you can basically create an area with high EMF that will give you those feelings like you're being watched and like all of this stuff going on. So it definitely could be playing into that.
Absolutely. Because it's like they're saying like a lot of the paranormal activity that happens there, that claims to happen there, is around the chapel, which is where those stones are at with all that magnetic energy.
Right.
So it's like, is it really paranormal stuff, or is it just
hallucinations?
Hallucinations or the magnetic energy that you're feeling, the high EMF.
I guess it would depend upon whether or not you catch it on a like if you catch it on camera, right? Like if you catch a ghost walking on camera, doesn't matter if there's high EMF or if you're hallucinating and seeing a dinosaur walk across the room, like your camera doesn't care. So it would be cool to see a dinosaur walking across the room.
Yeah, because like some of the right,
like there's a show about that called Paranormal Caught on Tape, and like most of it's fake.
I have a hard time watching that show, but like a lot of the paranormal sightings and ghost sightings have happened in the chapel. Like a lot of people report a ghost of Dipple roaming the chapel. They report seeing him hunched over, like studying in his laboratory and roaming the grounds of the castle. They also say because he was grave robbing for his experiments, that the people that he was grave robbing walk the castle grounds and stuff.
You know what's crazy about that is like the rumors of him grave robbing and stuff like that. Because they're like, oh yeah, he built this device which he was trying to move the soul from a living to to a corpse, right?
Yeah,
using
then you could do it with
three
a funnel.
tools.
A funnel,
a hose,
lubricant.
Yeah, what hole are you putting that in?
I don't want to know.
Well, then there's like a lot of the locals have stories passed down from ancestors and generations that the devil is a notable presence there surrounding the castle, and that visitors will describe odd feelings while in the forest, sometimes uneasy, like you're being watched or followed. Described as like, woodland spirits are watching over you, which would go back to the whole magnetic and EMF energy that's out there.
Yeah,
right.
Back to the fear cage.
Right.
Now, if you don't know what we're talking about with the fear cage thing, when you're exposed to higher levels of EMF than normal, like Josh said, I believe it's 10, you said?
10. Which
you'll
is
start to
not a lot.
feel uneasy. And I mean, going into people's homes who are having paranormal experiences, like I feel like I'm watched. Every time I sit over on the couch over here, I know that there's and I have these crazy dreams and I see things and I hear things. Well, a lot of times it's because we'll go check it out and that EMF level is high, and you find out, oh, well, there's actually a power line that runs right next to that window.
We were watching one episode of Ghost Hunters, and there was that claim, right? Hey, we're sitting on this couch and we see stuff down the hallway, and we always feel sick. And they found a 50 milligal baseline reading by that couch.
Wow.
Because
That's
of
bad.
uncoded wiring.
Yep.
And it's like, oh my gosh, how are you not worse off?
Cancer.
Yeah.
But you see, then you can also flip that and like, is all that energy attracting the spirits?
Well, and this is true, but we are taught as investigators, right, that if you can explain it with normal science and those things, that it's
intelligent.
We have to debunk some of that information, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, if they really are having issues, let's fix the wiring and
see if it still happens.
Right, and see if it's still happening.
Or if it moves. Because if it's a spirit that's causing this, high, we will use the instruments to determine that, spirits have electric energy. If you keep getting the same reading on one spot, but it doesn't move, then, well, what is it about that spot? But if that spot moves, then all of a sudden, wait, it's disappeared. Now it was super high, now it's low. Oh, now it's over here.
Yeah.
Then we look at those. But we try to debunk. And I've seen it before on houses that we've been to where just the EMF was so high that, totally explains why people would be wigging out.
Yeah.
It might even draw someone into being crazy and thinking that they can bring people back to life by digging up graves and doing nasty lubrication oil. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Ah.
I'll live to
I mean,
be
there's
old.
also a ghost story between these two lovers, Philip and Anne Marie. So Philip was the last knight of. He's got a stone statue on the wall in Castle Frankenstein, and he was one of the last knights. His name was Philip Ludwig, and he was 20 years old in a coach to go see his girlfriend, but the horse was going so fast he got thrown out and broke his neck and died.
Mhm.
And like his spirit has been seen roaming around, sad that he died without a girlfriend, still trying to find Anne Marie. And then Anne Marie, who waited and waited for Philip to show up, but never did. Story says she died of a broken heart. And so now Anne Marie's ghost is seen flying up to the tower and settles on the ground, praying that her boyfriend will come to her. So if they're both roaming there together, can you just find each other?
Right?
Right? Yeah. Like, ghost here.
You think
ghost
they'd be on
here.
the same plane, you know
Right?
what I mean?
Right.
You would think that they would be able to make a connection somewhere and
But
find
what
each
if
other.
they're not somehow?
I don't know.
But what if it's not?
Yeah.
What if it's residual on that avenue?
That
though?
could be
That's
residual.
true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Or could
So-
be people hallucinating, thinking they saw them.
There's that too.
So one of the legends that is based around the castle is George and the dragon. So you have Lord George, the dragon slayer, is said that there was a dangerous dragon that lived in the gardens near the well of the castle of Burg Frankenstein. And so the peasants of the neighboring village, is it
Niederbierbach.
near Niederbierbach?
Need my beer back.
They lived in fear of the mighty dragon, and it is said that the dragon would creep in at night and eat the villagers and their children in their sleep. And one day, George Knight came by and rode into town, and the townsfolk were desperate, seeking for a brave knight to give them hope. And they poured out their troubles and sorrows to have him help them. So the next day, he put on his armor, rode up to the castle, into the garden, and straight to the well where the dragon was, taking a rest, and Lord George got off his horse and attacked the dragon. And they had a big battle. The dragon fought for his life, spewed out fire and steam, and after hours of fighting, and both of the dragon and the knight, almost out of exhaustion, the knight plunged the sword into the underbelly of the dragon, killing the dragon. But as the dragon was dying in his agony, his tail coiled around Lord George, and the poisonous spikes on the end of the dragon tail got George and killed him too. That's like the perfect story of every dragon slayer, right?
Yeah.
All that just to both wind up dead.
Sneak up on him while he's taking a nap, and then go, ha ha!
So the villagers were happy and relieved that the dragon was finally dead. And they gave the knight a proper burial. And you can actually still go and visit his gravesite and his tomb in Niederbierbach.
Yeah, it actually says it's just on in the valley on the east side of the castle.
Yep.
Wow.
So make sure you get that on your itinerary. Castle Frankenstein,
And
Bucket
the Dragon
list.
Slayer's tomb.
Lord George's tomb.
Right. Yep.
So interesting enough, the Ghost Hunters International went there, and they believe that they actually got an EVP with that guy.
Of the Dragon
that he was
Slayer.
named, Arbogast.
Yeah, it
was
was.
I guess his name.
Well, and the EVP was
You
in
got that
such
one?
old German that when they took the EVP to, I think it was the concierge at their hotel or somewhere,
Yeah,
to try to translate it, that he couldn't even translate it because it was such old German verbiage. And they actually ended up translating it to Arbo is here, which would mean Arbogast, the name of the knight of the castle.
Which is interesting because that's the name that Jamie came up with
Right.
of the knight who won the land
In
back
the Battle of Arms.
in the Battle of Arms.
Uh-huh.
Oh, there you
10th
go.
century. Late
I
10th
slap
century.
you with this arm.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
can just tell you. I swear that's in a movie where they have arms and they're beating each other with the arms.
It's probably a Monty Python movie.
That's what I was thinking.
You know, it could be.
And there's also been people reporting that they've had like stones thrown at them from the top of the tower, and people hearing voices and feeling like you have ants crawling on you, which would lead back to the whole magnetic stuff again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
And that's where it leads into a challenge too, because like the ants, the stones, I mean, it's an old building too, right? Like a stone can fall off the side of the building,
absolutely.
where in gravity and stuff. So is it really a ghost throwing it off, or are you so freaked out because of the high EMF, that you're assuming that? And that, it's the same thing like, doing a paranormal investigation, right? Like you're already so hyped up, doing the investigation that if something moves or falls, you could freak out and say, that stone was thrown. And really it was a piece of the ceiling falling down.
Hey, I just found in my notes the number one most haunted place for the witches. It's Mount Brocken in the Harz, whatever that is. So Mount Brocken.
He's so proud he found
Hey,
that.
I found it. I was like, I know this stuff.
I got nothing. I don't even know what that is.
So did you guys know that there's a fountain of youth there?
At the castle?
Yeah.
Is it full of Dipple's oil? Because that
Right?
gross.
No,
Probably.
hidden behind the herb garden of the castle, there is a fountain of youth. And the legend is that the first full moon night after Walpurgis night, am I saying that right?
Yep. Good, close enough.
You're right.
It's the 5th of June.
Hey,
Yeah.
we're from Utah. At least we are.
Yeah.
We know speak and no German.
The old women of the nearby villages had to undergo tests of courage, and the one who succeeded became rejuvenated to the age that she had been on the night of her wedding. It is not known if this tradition is still being practiced today, but if it is, I'm going.
What if it's like Hunger Games, though? Like it's a fight to the death.
Right?
Like you got these like 90-year-old women out there with swords like hacking at each other.
I would love to go back to be, 22 when I got married.
Right?
She's like, I would not marry this turkey.
But think about this, though. It's like, okay, so she wins. She goes back to 25, but her husband's still 80.
Oh, don't matter.
Well, yeah. It's like Chris Evans, Captain America, still loved his wife after she was old.
Yeah, but the other way around, then. Like she just dump us and
I just wanted to find a way to mention Captain America. No, today the castle is open.
It's actually closed because of
Well,
COVID.
yeah, but okay.
When-
assuming that it
non-COVID
reopens,
years.
they actually
Yeah.
do some fun
A
stuff.
year
there.
ago, you could still go and visit. Not a year ago. A
couple years
year and a
ago.
half ago.
So-
You could
Yeah.
still go and visit 100%.
No, they actually have a Halloween tradition up there that was actually started by U.S. soldiers. But we're rewind a little bit. We're going to go back to 1915. Okay, so on Halloween night, 1952. Sorry, I said 1915. 1952. Do you guys know the story? So there's
Jamie does.
a guy named John Keel. He sent 3 American Forces network reporters to Frankenstein Castle to explore the castle for a live radio broadcast. Okay,
why?
because it makes for good radio. We're going to go send these 3 soldiers out there to go explore it on Halloween. It's for exciting.
Why not?
radio.
They're
Okay.
really just in some. They're really
Whoa.
like 4/10 over.
So the reporters were told that a local legend claimed that Frankenstein's monster would return to the castle that night. So reporter Carl Nelson investigated the castle's crypt, where Keel, the guy that had sent them up there, had actually set up a statue in the middle of the crypt and rigged it to move and topple as a prank, terrifying Nelson.
Nice.
So he sends them out there, sets it up. Reportedly, it frightened radio listeners, and they bombarded the station with calls, and the military police were actually dispatched to the castle to go save these guys.
That's
my
so
God.
cool.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious.
that is
that is
makes-
why.
That makes Americans look so good.
that's like War of the Worlds.
I know,
Well,
right?
it kind of is. I mean, it was 1952. So, but then you fast forward into the 70s, and again, American servicemen. We talked about this before. That you want to go with it, Jamie?
No, go ahead.
You sure?
You got it.
Okay. So in 1978, American airmen from the 435th Transportation Squadron, stationed at Rhine, Maine Air Base, they actually started an annual Halloween festival at the castle, which became one of the biggest Halloween festivals in Europe.
Can we go next year?
I would totally want to. No, let's give it a couple years. COVID don't let things open.
That's true. It might not be open.
They've also had other things. In 1977, there was a running competition routed along the steep forest trails around the castle.
Not doing that.
No. And that run was actually held in 2008 when all the American forces left the town of Darmstadt.
Oh, wow.
So, and then, so the city organized the final race in October of 2008. But they still do the Halloween stuff. It's a you can get reservations. It's a wedding place? I think you said before?
Well, pre-COVID, I'm pretty sure. I don't think they do it right now, but the castle was open year-round. There's a restaurant on site, and the restaurant does like medieval dinners or haunted dinners.
Nice.
Right?
Sign me up for this.
I would love to go and do
Right?
it. Even just the medieval
Yeah, we'll
one
go
would
back.
be really cool.
We'll just go 2 nights in a row.
But they do those year-round.
It's medieval night?
There's
Tomorrow's
there's a
gonna
chat like the chapel on site. You can still get married at the chapel. How cool would it be? Like I got married at the chapel at Frankenstein Castle.
That'd be
Right.
awesome.
That'd be so
And
cool.
we all went crazy because of the magnetic.
What we all can do is we all take a trip to Frankenstein's castle. We have dinner, and then we do vow renewals in the chapel
Right.
with EMF detectors out.
And then we ghost hunt. And then we ghost hunt.
And then we go hunt.
We have all the stuff out there. Dowsing rods. Does anybody object?
So I don't know. I tried
Oh,
to
the rods are
go.
saying no.
I tried to go to their website to like look at pricing and to get more information, but it's all in German. I can't read it. I'm sorry.
No.
I tried.
No hablo alemán.
I couldn't figure out how to translate it. I wonder. I should have contacted my brother to see if he ever went there when he was over in Germany, because he went to all the places
I'm
over
sure
there.
he did, actually.
Mm-hmm. So
Just
yeah,
for our own entertainment. Yeah,
I should have contacted him and I didn't.
should have. Let's see. It's only 11 o'clock at night there. Let's call him. They'll probably be up.
So,
Live
but yeah,
call-in
I
show now.
definitely is. I'm adding this on a list of a place I'd like to visit someday.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I'd rather
This
go
place-
here than Brom. 100%.
And,
I would like to see Brom just because of where it's located, though.
Mhm.
Like it's up in the mountains and it's away from everything. So
Mhm.
like going to Brom would be really neat. But no, this place is cooler.
I think this is would be higher on my list to try to get to
Okay.
over Brom.
this one or the one that has the covering to the portal to hell?
Do you have to choose?
Why not both?
I'm making her choose.
I'd probably do this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you really wanted to go to that one. I don't remember what it was called. Do you remember talking about that? Did you just talk about that one? That pit?
I know
no,
what you're talking
we've
about.
talked about it because we were going to do
Drives
it as
people
an episode
crazy?
on the podcast, but we haven't done it
Oh.
yet. Mainly just because that place seems a lot more evil, and I don't know if I want to muck with that.
Evil.
The cool thing though is like all of these places are
Huska Castle. That's what it is.
Huska.
Huska.
Huska. Mickey Mouse.
all these places are in Europe. And so the neat thing is like because they're all in Europe, they're all close to each other.
Tom.
Some of them, right? So you could take a trip.
Well, relatively.
Yeah, relatively, right? You can drop into France and then make your way to Germany and then go north and hit some stuff in the UK and Scotland and Ireland and in Wales and then end in,
But there's no haunted stuff in the UK.
no. There's
Not a
nothing
one.
haunted in the UK.
It's in Chechnya.
Yeah, the Huska Castle is in Chechnya.
Chechnya or Chechnya?
It says
Chechnya.
Chechnya.
Where the heck is
Chechnya.
Czechia.
I believe that's the former Czech Republic.
is where it's at.
the former
Czechoslovakia,
No, that's
Yugoslavia. I don't know,
It's
man.
north of Prague.
Oh, that's Switzerland. Just kidding.
I don't know.
Prague's in Czechoslovakia.
Geography, I don't know.
Geography,
Sorry.
I do know.
Well, the thing that gets tough is like when Russia broke up, when it was no longer the Soviet Union and it broke up into its satellite countries,
Right.
all
You have
sorts of
all
tiny
those
little countries got made.
out there. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's probably Western Bloc or Eastern Bloc.
Eastern Bloc, for sure.
Yeah.
Eastern Europe.
Some tiny little town.
So yeah,
out
no,
there.
I would probably still choose Frankenstein over that place.
Cool. Well,
So-
and Frankfurt's nearby, too. So then you know.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie's got her Frankenstein socks on.
Jamie's playing
Does she
footsie.
really?
You guys are like getting frisky.
Oh my
over
gosh,
there.
she does. That's awesome. Was this planned?
No, I just realized it myself.
Love it. So anyways, I think that wraps it up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much we didn't cover, so much we could have, but for the interest
I
of,
think we got it in a nutshell,
yeah,
though.
I
Yeah.
think we did okay.
It's such an interesting place. Like the crazy thing about it is for as old of a castle as it is, right? We're talking 1200s or earlier.
It's one of the oldest castles out there, really.
There's just not a lot out
No.
there though,
Mm-mm.
which is amazing. So,
Mhm.
how is it that such an old castle has nothing written on it?
Well, even with our research for Brom, like there's more hauntings here than there was at Brom. You think there would be more,
At least reported, right?
yeah, reported.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, culture's been there. Like I did hear about that they had done some archaeological things. They had found artifacts in this area up to 3000 BC. So definitely civilization has been here around where these stones are and this mountain,
Right.
For centuries.
I wonder if I can touch these stones and travel in time like Outlander.
3000 BC, man.
Maybe. Like, and that's the thing is like the old Germanic tribes were in that area, right?
Mhm.
Like, so there's the history's there. It's just for whatever reason, the written history is not.
That's just crazy.
It's just not documented.
Well, written history
Yeah.
didn't exist until when?
Well, it was definitely around in the 1600s.
True.
But it's just for whatever reason that stuff just didn't make its way out, and so
Mhm.
and
It's
that's
a
why
conspiracy.
that's why it's all left to folklore. Like all of the stuff that we found is basically folklorish based.
It's because the aliens that live there don't want us to know.
It's always possible.
That's always
So
aliens.
nothing's written.
Yes.
All right. Well, we've gone on long enough, but if you are thirsty for more information, go find it, man. The interwebs are full of information about Frankenstein's castle, Mary Shelley, Victor Dipple,
Johann.
Victor Frankenstein.
Yes.
Same guy, maybe.
Possibly.
Could be. You can find out more about reanimation of corpses. I mean, there's all kinds of fun stuff you can you can find.
You can find out what the purpose of the funnel, the hose, and the lubricant was.
Yes.
Ew.
Be careful when researching that, though.
Yes.
And then, if you've been there, drop us a note. Tell us what you experienced there.
Oh my gosh, I'd love to hear your stories.
I would love to
Oh,
hear
absolutely.
stories. We are on Facebook. You can find us at the Paranormal Peeps podcast on Facebook.
Yes.
Great place to drop your story. Please keep it clean. Where else are we, Josh?
We're also on Facebook. We have you can find us at Cold Spot Paranormal Research.
Yep.
And on Instagram, we've got coldspot_paranormal_research.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Come find us out. Look, if you guys like what we're doing, please leave us a review. Apple, Google, just leave us a review. Podchaser is a great place. We can actually interact with you there. But yeah, let us know. Give us a rating. Let us know how we're doing. And then find us on Facebook or Instagram, and just let us know if there's anything else you want us to cover.
Yeah. I do want to give one quick shout. I don't know if we did the shout outs before. So we have one follower on Instagram that we always look forward to. That anytime we get post anything on Instagram, Terry goes, "Hey, our listener in Scotland liked it." So just wanted to give her some love because, being Scottish, ancestry myself, her name's Julie. Did you give her whole name, you think?
That's her username on her Instagram page.
Well, just like Julie, you know who you are. We appreciate you. We love you.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Julie.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Julie.
Thank
Thanks
you so
for liking
much.
all of our Instagram posts. And thanks for listening. Now tell all the rest of the people in Scotland to come listen to us.
Please.
So, other than that, you guys have a fun one. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Yule, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all the fun stuff, man. I don't know. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
In the meantime,
Stay ghosty, my peeps. Thank you for listening to the Paranormal Peeps podcast. You can find us on social media at Twitter at CPR Paranormal, on Facebook at Paranormal Peeps Podcast and Cold Spot Paranormal Research. And you can find us on Instagram at coldspot_paranormal_research.